Hey, Dana, how are you?
Good. What's
Hey,
happening?
can you, not much. Can you tell us how the scrimmage went the other day? What are some important, hang on one second here. What are some important takeaways that came from your first one?
It was somewhat controlled. It was the first time that we put the ball down and played, so to speak. We're 9 practices into it. 2 of them have been tackle. Um, you know, uh, it was good. 2-minute focus, 2-minute situations. That's something that we always got to be able to do that offensively, but really is the main focus of what we're doing defensively based on, what happened last year at Memphis. We haven't finished, and I'm not pointing the finger at defense at all. It's just, that's one of the areas that we're focusing on. We had, critical down situations where that was a main emphasis. I do think we got a lot better on critical downs, 3rd and 4th downs last year. We made a lot of improvement. Want to continue to improve that. Really, the main focus this week will turn to more red zone, score zone stuff. We really didn't get into those situations very much in the scrimmage. Overall, I was very happy with it. We had 85 plays total. Turn the ball over a little bit too much on offense, which that excites you thinking about it defensively. We had a hard time getting turnovers around here. We're making it a big emphasis. We talk about it a lot. We work on it a lot. We're taking care of the ball on offense. From a fumble perspective, we're throwing too many interceptions. I think that probably has something to do with young quarterbacks. Our defensive pressure has probably been the highlight of spring so far. Just, having guys that have the ability to be able to get to the quarterback. We can pop linebackers more than we have the last couple of years because our corners are playing well, not just Marcus and Pepe, but, Jace Rogers and Alex Hogan and Kelvin Clements are guys that are standing out a little bit. That just gives us more cover people, which allows us to pressure more. Just happy with where we're at, and I told them, 9 practices into it, we haven't had a dull moment. We've had a ton of energy. We've had, unbelievable effort. We have really good depth, so there's a lot of competition, and offensively we made a few plays. 2 I thought looked really good, looked really comfortable and really good. Tank Dell made a couple of nice plays. We completed a couple of vertical routes, which that's been an emphasis. We have not completed vertical routes here in 2 years. And he made a couple of vertical plays, which was good. Keyshawn Carter showed up a little bit. Taysom Henry showed up a little bit. Then O-line, just we got guys that need reps and should continue to get better.
Dana, I know generally speaking, we've asked this question often this time of year. How important is this stuff you're doing now related to what you're going to be doing in the fall?
Yeah, it's critical. And I was happy with what we got done last year in 8 practices before COVID hit and everything shut down. We're so much more advanced now. After 9 practices this spring, we're so much more advanced now than where we were last year, 8 practices in. So couldn't be more excited about it. Just really, really appreciate our guys' effort. Think our coaches are coaching hard and players are playing hard and practicing hard. We got 105 bodies out there. That's more than I've ever had in spring. That's especially O-line, D-line, rotating 3, 6, 9, 12, like 14 D linemen and 12 O linemen, so to speak. That allows you to practice the way that you want to practice to be able to get things done. So couldn't be happier with where we're at. Got 2 more weeks. I think we can now start talking a little bit about building some excitement surrounding this football team a little bit. And We'll practice tomorrow morning, very controlled setting. We'll practice Thursday morning and crank it up a little bit in anticipation for Friday evening, which everybody has an opportunity to be able to come see for themselves. Got 100 guys out there that'll be getting after it, and the energy, incitement, 6 o'clock in TCEDU Stadium, I think will speak for itself. I think people will be able to get excited about it.
All right, we'll go to Sam Kahn, then Rob Sellers. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Dana. I'm curious, when it comes to Deontay Anderson, what was the impetus to moving him down closer to the box, and how has that gone so far this spring?
Just the natural evolution of body type more than anything. I mean, Deontay could run. Now, he was a state 100-meter. I don't know if he was the champion or 200-meter champion or something. I mean, you talk about that in the state of Texas. That's something now, right? So he can run. Same thing with Keyshawn Carter. I mean, that guy was a state 100-meter champion. Well, both of them are dealing with just the natural growth and evolution of your body as you get older, right? And so, there's times that Deontay struggled on the hash just because he's gained so much weight, and Keyshawn went through, I don't mean to change the subject, but it plays into the same thing for both of them. Keyshawn went through he had a collarbone, and really didn't do anything for about 4 months. And so he gained a little weight. So it's helped him be a little bit of a thumper, which is good to have on offense. We haven't had a lot of thumpers. We've had soft guys. But just Deontay doing that. And that's one reason why he came back, is because his natural, where he can fit, is more closer to the box, and so we've moved him from the hash to the nickel spot, and then moving forward, he just committed to moving inside, and having him and Donnie inside are two guys that have played a lot of snaps, that have a lot of football intelligence. Their backups are Malik Robinson and Manny Nunnery, who two are the most freakishly athletic guys. But the football intelligence always wins out. Those are just two guys that have a lot of football IQ, and that's what linebackers do. They get D linemen lined up and they make them right. And so it's been going good. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's getting more comfortable every day in that role.
And as you guys have shifted to Coach Bell running the defense, has there been much different in terms of what you guys have done schematically, or anything that he's done to kind of put his stamp on it so far?
Well, there's going to be some things. There's always going to be some things when you change like that. But one of the reasons why it's a natural transition, because he's been the co-DC for 2 years, and he's been running the back end for 2 years. So, what we're doing on the back end, that ain't going to be any different than what we've been doing. He's been a DB coach for, his whole career. So that he's already knows what we want to do there. I think there's some front things that we can tweak, so, him and Brian Early have a really good relationship. Brian's been here, has done a great job. Our D line looks really good. I mean, just some of the stuff that these guys are putting on video, the way that they play is impressive. They're disruptive, and they're making our O-line better every day. But Trey Williams is as good as advertised. Latrell Bankston is as good as advertised. Those guys bring D1 experience, Power 5 experience. Logan Hall is playing better than anybody on our team. And DeAnthony Jones and Derek Parrish are really hard to block off the edge. I think Derek had like 6 sacks, and now he has a unique ability to be able to go in there against the second team and go against freshmen all the time. So some of those sacks are inflated, but we have a hard time blocking him. But the camaraderie that we have with the D line is really good. Brian's doing a great job, and him and Doug are on the same page, and it's been fun to kind of watch them get a little bit creative and do different things other than just playing a 4-down front and just getting upfield.
All right, I'll go over to Rob Sellers. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks, Tyler. Hey, Coach, It seemed like at times during the year, especially as it wore on and the injuries mounted on the offensive line, that there were times you were really limited at times on what you were willing to call offensively. Do you foresee that? I know it's a long process to rebuild an offensive line and the quality depth you're looking for. Do you foresee that taking a big step forward in the upcoming season with what you've seen early on in spring?
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Cody Russey's been nicked up. I give him crap all the time. I mean, he's like, I've never missed a practice in my life. I mean, this kid's played, how many did I say? 3,600 snaps in his career. I think that's right. I mentioned it last time. 3,453 snaps in his career. He's never missed a practice. He got his knee tweak practice 2, and he's been out since. But he looked great for 2 days. So he's gonna be fine. He's gonna give it a go tomorrow. We'll see what it looks like. Get Patrick Paul back, Dennis Bardwell back. Cam Johnson's been coming along. Now is the time where like those guys that like him that have been here for 2 years going into their 3rd year have a chance to be able to play. Tank Jenkins is big and gets better every day. I mean, those 5 guys right there right now would probably be our starting 5. None of those guys played the last 2 games of the year. So, we're building depth and Chase Todd and, Derek Bowman, Nana, Uganda Nana, those guys are all getting valuable reps against a D line that's playing at a high level, and they're going to provide us with a bunch of depths. Jack's fighting hard. Max is fighting hard. Boatman's fighting hard. All those guys played last year. And Ruben has been, he's out for the rest of spring. He played for about half, tweaked his knee back up. He's been dealing with that a little bit, but those guys are all the guys that played towards the end of the year. And right now they would have a hard time getting into our starting 5. So just with depth and experience and getting guys back, it should be a whole nother ball game.
Just to follow up on that then too, Coach, has the progress you've seen in the spring from the offensive line, the additions you already made in Russie, has that changed anything in terms of your approach moving forward with the spots you have left in the class from the 21 class and what you're fishing for?
No, we're still looking. We would probably take, we got about 6 left. We would probably take 2 linemen, 2 receivers, and then best available after that. I'm not quite sure. So we got some wiggle room. I think we got 7 maybe left, 7 or 8. I can't remember. But yeah, we're looking right now. We got some guys that we're talking to, but we're definitely looking for some depth at the O-line. And I'm not talking about just going out there looking for a grad transfer or anything like that. I mean, we want the best available. Maybe it would be a high priority to get somebody that can help us next year for 1 year, but just continuing to bring guys in like Keyshawn Carter and Tazon Henry and Tank Jenkins that have years. Best available. At the end of the day, it's always best available.
All right, I'll go back to Sam and then swing it over to Joseph. Go ahead, Sam.
And I heard you say recently that you felt like last season you guys started the year playing physical, but didn't end it that way. Can you were able to put a finger on why that was, and how do you address that over the course of an off season?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just the guys we lost were physical people, right? Peyton Turner was, he looked off the charts good in his pro day the other day. Well, you lose a 6'5", 260-pound DN that sacked people, it hurts. Donnie Mooten was our most physical player through 3 games, and then boom, he's done for the year. The safeties, we didn't get anything out of Spreewell. He's physical. G. Owens, Vaughn, those guys would come up and thump you. They didn't play. COVID knocked out Malik and Manny for the last 2-3 games of the year or whatever it was. We just lost too many people. And then I just mentioned the O-line. I mean, our top 5 guys were out pretty much. So you lose that, it's hard getting that back, so I don't know. I think we fixed it. I'm looking at physical football right now. I've been happy with the physicality. I think we're going to crank it up again here this week and next week and try to become a little bit more physical. So that's been addressed. I just think body types and depth is the simple answer.
And what do you like out of your quarterback room so far? How have the younger guys developed? And then has Clayton done anything different or, improved in any area that you've liked so far?
Yeah, he's been solid. I just think with his experience, I mean, his bad has got to go away. But the people around him have something to do with that too, right? So we got to protect him better, give him some time. We got to run the ball better and not let him stack the box. We got to improve on our timing with receivers, which I like where him and Singleton are at. I like where him and Tank Dell are at. I like where him and Trahan is with. Keandre Street's making a little bit of a move. Keyshawn Carter is showing that he can come bring us a lot of valuable experience. So the guys around him are kind of responsible for his performance a little bit too. So, just got to stay the course and log the reps and continue to work on timing with the receivers and continue to be protected with the guys up front.
All right, I'll go over to Joseph.
Hey, Dana, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I kind of wanted to piggyback there off of Sam. The development at receiver, I know going into it, you had mentioned the guys like Bradley and Singleton, guys that maybe the COVID had wiped out last year and you wanted to really kind of see what they did this spring. How's that part developed, beyond Dell and such?
We got some work to do. I'm not comfortable with what our receiver depth is right now. Just not. Young guys need to develop that really, quite honestly, have not developed yet. It needs to continue to get better. I mentioned I've been happy with Street, been happy with Jeremy, I've been happy with Keyshawn, I've been happy with Tank. The rest of them got to keep coming, man. Got to keep improving, and we got to find some more guys. That's not going to get it done right there. That's not enough depth. I've been happy with the top guys, but we need more depth and may need to go out there and find some.
And back on the quarterbacks, Dana, the young guys and even Ike, how have they responded to getting some reps in the spring as you move forward to the summer and making a decision behind Clayton?
Yeah, it's the same conversation. I'm happy with where Tune is right now. He's going to keep getting better. Guys around him are going to keep getting better. Our depth is what scares me on offense. We got it on defense. I'm not worried about depth at all on defense. We're not actively out there pursuing anything that we feel like we need. I cannot say that about our offense. I mean, we're out there actively recruiting people about at every spot possible. Including the quarterback spot. I mean, it all depends on how the young guys develop. And, with Ike, we like where Ike's at. He's been around here for a long time. He's smart. We're not repping him because those young guys need reps. We got to figure out what those young guys can do. They look like freshman quarterbacks to me.
Right.
They gotta get as many reps as they possibly can. They have for 9 days. They've been good. They're in here studying every single day. They're smart. Maddox and Soph both are intelligent, but they're just young. And so they got to keep getting reps and they got to keep learning and keep getting better and keep getting comfortable with what we're asking them to do. And we got to get to a point where, we got to be okay if something happens with Clayton Tune. That's just reality in college football, so if we feel like these young guys can continue to improve, great. If not, then we're always going to be looking for somebody else out there.
All right, I'll go back to Sam. Got another one?
Yeah, Dana, I'm curious, as you mentioned, looking at possibilities to add depth in places, how much has the transfer market changed how you structure recruiting? Because I know there was once upon a time where you would sign 25 high school guys and maybe take 1 or 2 transfers. Nowadays, it seems not just you. I know you've been using it at your past place and here, but I see more and more teams getting 4, 5, 6, 7 transfers. Have you seen that developed? And how do you feel like that's impacted what you do at the high school level?
It's a whole nother ball game. It is a whole nother ball game. Yeah, and we started doing it, probably 6-7 years ago at the rate of about 50-50. But a lot of those were JUCO kids, and now it's not as much JUCO guys as it is, finding guys that got experience. So, I get like the 3 Texas Tech kids, which I've already mentioned, Alex Hogan and Keyshawn Carter and Tayson Henry. Those guys all logged good reps at Tech. Okay. So we knew what they could do at the college level. I think in high school, recruiting is a little bit of a crapshoot when it comes to high school at times. Clearly there's difference makers. I mean, there's the Ed Olivers out there that we're going to not get very often. Okay. So most of the high school guys that we get are going to be developmental players. And sometimes they don't develop the way that you want them to develop. That's just, and then you just hang in there, and hopefully over the course of time, they get where we want them to be eventually. Well, this is always a, what have you done for me lately type deal, right? So getting guys that have proven snaps at the D1 level gives you a better chance to get what you want to out of them the next year. So it's changed it a lot, upwards of probably 50% of it's going to be from the transfer portal now, which hurts bringing in JUCO kids and it hurts bringing in high school kids. That's about where I've been, although it's been more JUCO than 4-year transfers.
And in this particular cycle, do you feel like that's taken an uptick because you haven't been able to get a live look at a high school kid? So thus I'm going to evaluate the college tape and know that he can do X, Y, and Z at the Division I level, as opposed to taking the chance on the high school kid in this particular cycle because of the restrictions.
Yeah, it is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 high school guys. The other, what would it be, 15, 16, 18 guys are going to probably be some sort of a transfer. So that number is probably up to about 66% now. I don't see it changing. I mean, I just, moving forward for the next year, I don't see it changing. I think you're going to get about 2/3 of your guys through the portal or junior college, and take about a handful of high school guys a year.
All right, I'll let JD close this out.
Dana, has anyone asked you about, I believe this week is the week that they're planning on voting on the ending the dead period. Wondering what your thoughts were about actually getting yourself and your staff out there again to evaluate and recruit guys face to face, and what you think it'll be like moving forward.
Yeah, it's next. I believe it's next week. I believe it might be this week. I can't remember. It's maybe this week. It's getting close. I got it circled on my calendar outside my office. But I don't think we're going to be getting out very, very soon. The first step will be opening to where they can come on campus. Now, what that looks like, I don't know. I mean, we're not making any plans right now. I mean, it's shut down till June. If it opens and we can have camps and we can bring people on campus and do visits and stuff like that, then we're going to know how that works. We've done that our whole life. I don't think we're going to be going anywhere to go actively pursue recruiting until maybe in the fall on a limited basis. We're going to keep doing recruiting the way that it's all virtual right now, so it's transfer portal every day and it's virtual recruiting. And we're going to keep doing that until we're told we can do something different. So yeah, we got that date circled and we're anxious to see what it's going to look like. It's probably going to open up in June from what I hear, into where we can have people on campus, which, we'll bring back a little bit of how we used to do it.
Speaking of the way you used to do it, I'm just curious, has there been anything bizarre in this year where, one of these guys that you didn't get to meet in person once he's here now in spring or whatever, have you gone up to a guy and said, oh, so you're the guy, or, it's sort of a different kind of introduction between you and the players now that you're recruiting because of that missing personal touch. Has there been any kind of, stories along those lines that you've dealt with a new guy that, yeah, you recruited him, but, he hadn't really met him?
You get to know them pretty good on these virtual things.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, you can get to know the kid pretty good.
Gotcha.
We do a lot of it, so we got to feel good about them. And then once they're here, there's probably a little bit more personal interaction with those new guys than there was. Usually it's like, I know everything about this guy. I've seen him so much. It's like, I mean, heck, when Soph came on campus for the first time, I'm like, I felt like he had been here for a year because he was always here, so it's just, you spend a little bit more personal time with them, kind of getting to know them a little bit more intimately, and, asking questions that you probably normally wouldn't have done because you already knew. Nothing bizarre though.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
All right, Sam's got one quick follow-up and then we'll close it out. Go ahead, Sam.
Along the lines, I know we don't know what's going to happen and how it's going to play out on the dead period thing, but I'm curious, would you be interested or in favor of the idea of having an on-campus evaluation of guys that's not necessarily in the setup of a camp, like as opposed to having 400, 500, 600 kids on a camp? If you were able to bring like a small group of guys that were maybe even on unofficials and say, hey, we can run them through, X amount of drills, would that be something you think would be beneficial to you guys?
So you're talking about tryouts,
Right. I mean, yeah, essentially, or kind of like a combine of sorts. I mean, kind of like what you would do at a camp, but just with a much smaller group as opposed to just playing camp. Just like an
yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I haven't been asked that question, Sam. But I don't think it's going to happen. They reduced the amount of camp stuff that you can do for a reason.
Hmm.
So I think that's probably just, the way the format's going to look forever. And, once we start getting into it and getting back to normal, it's going to take a year for it to probably really feel normal. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work. I mean, if you open that up like that, I mean, you can kiss everybody's vacation goodbye.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, because y'all normally have a dead period in late June, early July.
Well, and that's what all the basketball coaches say to us all the time with this recruiting, opening things up and early signing periods and all that. They're like, careful what you wish for, man.
Mm.
I don't, when's your dead time going to be? When's your downtime going to be? May is going to go back to normal next year. And then your camp's all June and July, and then you're in football camp. When's your downtime? I mean, that's a lot of work. Even these NFL guys got a lot of that. They actually got more downtime than we do. But if you start cranking recruiting up to the point to where it never ends, then there's going to be a lot of burnout, man. That's a real thing.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's just hypothetical, but I was curious. But I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for hopping on. We've got assistant coaches again on Thursday at 11:45, and I'll send this out shortly. Thanks for jumping on. We'll see you guys hopefully Friday night for open practice.
All right. See y'all Friday.
Thanks, Dana.